I guess Zeke and Marty get a little bit of pimpage this morning, huh?
Oh, yeah, with your
With
picture on Facebook.
My Talking Lead shirt. Yes. Our friend Zeke and Marty, or I'm sorry, our friend Zeke and Left Hand, the host, I think people know, but yeah, Zeke and Left Hand.
Yeah, people know.
The co-hosts of Talking Lead Radio.
You know what's funny?
What is funny?
Is that he's not left-handed.
No, he's not at all. No, the joke is that he's Zeke's left hand. Not his right hand, but his left hand.
He's his left-hand man.
He's his left-hand man. But we're not going to talk too much about that. What we're going to talk about is, I don't know, pop music, about the fact that I didn't sleep as much as I should have last night, so I might go off the chain. You might have to reel the chain in a little bit harder today. Folks, well, happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas belatedly, and for all of my Hebrew friends out there, Feliz Navidad. He's just going to let that slip. He's just going to let that go on the other side, folks.
Yeah, I'm not reeling in the chain like I should. I was reading a fan mail.
Do we get that?
No.
No? Okay.
Oh, speaking of fan mail.
Oh, speaking of fan mail, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank WUA for the Christmas card. It was a very nice gesture, and it was a great card. And second of all, do you want to say anything to WUA?
Hooah! No?
That's good enough. Okay, she'll understand your sentiment.
Hooah! Scent of a woman.
Second of all, I wasn't here when this happened, but one of our listeners came by the studio. He's down here on vacation, and him and his girlfriend came by.
Yep. So, hey, he didn't give us permission to use his name on the radio, so I'm going to respect his privacy and not do that. But you know who you are, dude.
Well, we can still thank you for coming by.
Thanks for we were just yesterday at the studio. Everyone in the entire firearms industry is off now. Between basically they all took off like the 23rd of December, and they're not coming back in the office until the 2nd, except for us. Speaking of Talking Lead and those geeks, they didn't put up episode 98. Did you notice that? I looked yesterday. They have episode 97 up, the one that you guessed, and that's why we wanted to talk about it, because Jared, your illustrious producer, guest hosted, and I guess you guest produced.
Oh, yeah, I was running the board for them.
Yeah, Jared.
Because Zeke ditched me. Actually, no, I think on that part of the thing, I came in halfway, and I pulled him out of the car, or pulled him out of the recording studio that we were in, which happened to be the car at the time. Mobile studios are fun. But anyway, I pulled him out of the car, and I duct taped him, and I stuck him so I could actually talk on the radio.
There you go. So, all right, hippies. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other stuff. We're going to talk about not pop music. And, heck, we're 3 minutes and 30 seconds into this show already, and I haven't thanked our sponsors. We always want to do that. Why do we want to do that? Put a coaster under that cup over there, hippie. All right, we've got, didn't your mom teach you to put coasters under cups? If your mom came in here and saw you putting a cup on a counter like that without a coaster, you'd be in trouble. Speaking of his mom, if you guys didn't hear, what episode was it, Jared?
Weren't you going to thank the sponsors?
Yeah, shut up. Just tell me what episode it was.
93 Part 2.
Oh, episode 93 Part 2. Yeah. If you listened to episode 93 Part 2, when Mrs. Markle came on, I was banished from the studio. And Mrs. Markle came into the studio and gave us a little behind the scenes and told stories on me. If you listen to that and you're a hip cat, Student of the Gun radio-wise, you want to pop over to Student of the Gun Facebook. That's Facebook/Student of the Gun.
Facebook.com/
Whatever. Nobody types in
they don't
URLs.
You have to type in Facebook.com, or it won't go anywhere. If you type in Facebook, it'll Google search it.
And then people tap it and it opens.
Is that how people do it?
Stop being a retard.
I like the more direct route.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, what I do is I click
direct.
the app button, and then I click the Facebook app, so I never have to type in a URL ever.
Yeah, that's right. No one does that. As a quick aside, it cracks me up when you ask someone what their website address is, and they say, it's www.stinkycheese.org.
Or stinky-cheese23.
Stinky-cheese.23.net/Wi-Fi or what's that free one that's just terrible.
Oh, Wix.
.wix. Oh.
Wix. Yeah, if you ever want to make a free website for yourself, go to Wix.com or whatever it is. I don't even remember what it is because it's so crappy.
Yeah, here's the deal, folks. And you're like, hey, man, I have a Wix website, and we're sorry for you. There's this thing called search engine optimization, and Wix ain't it. So if you really have a business and you want to promote that business seriously,
call Think On Productions.
Yeah, call Think On Productions. Call Kajabi.
8675309.
Yeah, right. That's right. Oh, well, who are we going to talk about? Well, first of all, we should talk about our friends at Brownells. Brownells is helping us with our AR-15 build. We're doing 2 special builds, Ares and Mars. Ares is done. Mars is almost done. We're that close. And if you could see me, you could see how I'm holding my fingers apart. But if you own a gun, Brownells has something for you, so check them out at brownells.com. Velocity Triggers is the heart of Ares and Mars, and that actually kind of was our inspiration. Our boys at Velocity Triggers are like, hey, we have 2 new triggers. Actually, they have 3 new triggers, but we have 2 of their 3 new ones, and we needed to build them up. So I contacted my buddy Dustin at Element Arms and arranged to transfer 2 stripped lowers and Luth AR. A skeleton stock, basically, and then they have their modular stock with the adjustable cheek piece, adjustable length of pole, and all that good stuff. And that's from Luth AR. And so, long story short, the guns are almost done. We've got the Duracoat on them. Some of you like the pattern, some of you don't. Hey, here's the deal. If you don't like it, then don't do your gun like that. Do it like something else. Put pink kittens on it if you want to. And that is this Velocity Triggers. And Velocity Triggers, they have a really simple URL. It's not .wix. It's velocity, like going fast, triggers.com. Check those guys out. Don't forget about Colt at Colt.com, the makers of the LE901 rifle. And Jared and I were talking about this last one last night. Well, not the last, but SWAT Fuel. We've got the SWAT Fuel Challenge. On the 31st, Jared's going to pick the SWAT Fuel, the winner for the SWAT Fuel Get Fit in 2015 giveaway package. And it's 1 bottle of 9mm fat burner, 1 bottle of 9mm plus P endurance formula, 1 bottle of 40 cal vitamins, a T-shirt, a hat, stickers, wristband, car charger, a bunch of cool swag. So that is the Get Fit in 2015 package. We put pictures up of it online, and it was featured in AmmoLand and so forth. And we're doing a special thing for the grad program members as well. If you're not a grad program member, then you probably don't know about it. But if you were a grad program member, you would know that we were giving away a CAR CW9 9mm pistol with Laser Max laser grip, and not laser grip, but laser device, and a brand new crossbreed holster, a Super Tuck.
And right now, at this moment in time, we have not got confirmation from the winner, and I'm on the second one.
Oh, so, wow.
We may get it by the time we record the bonus hour, the grad program hour.
You want to hear a little tale about somebody who's going to be really angry with themselves?
Yeah, when they open their email.
I'm going to tell you that little tale. Yeah, we told you when we pick a winner, we send you an email, and you have 24 hours to respond to say, hey, I got it. I'm here. I acknowledge that, because it's not fair to send you an email and then you don't check your email for 6 or 7 days or a week, or it goes to an email address that you never check, which just dumbfounds me, because people do that. They're like, oh, I'm going to sign up, but I'm going to use an email address that I never check. What?
Well, our grad program subscribers, most of them,
yeah,
I can know by name because I've spoke with them before.
Yeah, that's what I can't figure out.
But the two ones that I use a random number generator, and the 2 so far that I've picked, I've never really communicated with them before. So,
well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell them. But yeah, if you guys if you sign up for the newsletter for the weekly broadcast, or if you're a grad program member, you got to check your email once in a while, like once a day. So the first person that got the email didn't apparently open it or respond, so they don't get to win the pistol. How angry would you be if, like, 5 or 6 days later, you went in and you're like, well, oh, man, I was the winner. Yeah, you were, but now you're not. So, sorry. Sorry for your luck, Sparky. But the good news is somebody else is going to win. Now, on the 31st, Jared's going to pick the Get Fit in 2015 winner. And if you have signed up for the weekly broadcast, for the newsletter, the free one that you get in your email once a week or so, if you signed up for that, you are eligible, and you will get an email. One of you will get an email. And don't forget about Excess Sites. Excess Sites are the fastest sites in any light, bar none. Oh, Jared, we thanked Sally for the Christmas card, and you wanted to give a special acknowledgement because we're not 13-year-old girls, and we don't do shout-outs. We do acknowledgments. We do mentions. We do that kind of stuff. But you won't hear me doing a shout out because I'm not a 13-year-old girl.
He's not going to shout on the radio.
So
anyway,
if you hear someone saying shout out, you might just think, oh, are you a 13-year-old girl?
I like to whisper too.
Okay. All right, go ahead and tell them who you're going to acknowledge.
We've got a student of the gun that brought a new student of the gun into the audience, and we just wanted to say we're glad to have Shavonda Yancey as a new student. Welcome to Student of the Gun.
Welcome to Student of the Gun University, the best-smelling university around. All right. And if you guys are not up with the grad program, Jared's going to tell you real quick what you get with the grad program, and then we're going to dive into our news, to the meat.
Well, with the grad program, you obviously get the bonus extra hour of Student of the Gun radio every week. And Dad goes a little bit off the chain. I try to keep myself composed, but sometimes just can't do it. You get, what else you get? You get the Tactical Tutor newsletter, and give them a little teaser of what this, on January 1st, we're going to send out Tactical Tutor newsletter. And the bonus hour, the grad program subscribers are going to get a little something extra.
Yeah.
What are they going to get?
They're going to get a lanyap. They're going to get a little
Just
lanyap.
give them the title of the...
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What the, about no-cost training?
There's no-cost training, and then there's...
No, it's not no-cost training. I'm sorry. That's no-cost practice.
Oh, practice, yeah.
There's a difference between training and practice. So, we're going to give you a little thing, if you're a grad program member, about no-cost practice. And the January Tactical Tutor newsletter is going to talk about shooting fast. Fast shooting. So you get the bonus hour of Student of the Gun radio. You get the Tactical Tutor newsletter that we send out once a month. You get entries to the giveaways, such as the car pistol that we have just given away. And what do we have coming up? Well, we gave away 4 Blackhawk Legacy lights.
Oh, yeah, we gave away the lights. We gave away the pistol with the laser and a holster. And we've got some more stuff coming up.
Actually, one of our sponsors, Chiappa Firearms, they are just actually in the process of releasing some really cool reproductions of World War II firearms. You're like, World War II? You mean like an M1 carbine? Maybe.
There you go.
Maybe. And we talked to our buddy Charlie up there, and we said, hey, how about giving away one of those to one of our fans? And he's like, I think we can do that. So it's not official yet. How's that for a teaser?
There you go.
Down here on the Gulf Coast, we're in the midst of a thunder boomer. So if you hear anything ominous, it's just Jared putting in thunder noises to make my voice sound more ominous. How's that sound? Yeah. All you guys up there, you had like white Christmas and snow and stuff. We had thunderstorms and tornadoes down here. Not cool.
It was sunny on Christmas.
It was sunny.
It was weird. It cleared up.
Yeah, it was
for one day, and that was Christmas.
It was crappy and thunderstormy, and then Christmas Day, the sun came out, and then the storms came back in. So I guess that was our gift for Christmas Day. But right now we're going to jump into the meat of it, into the heart of it, and Jared's going to drop it like it's hot and give us our theme song.
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see it's never shown.
All right, this story comes to us from the Washington. Well, it's actually from Breitbart.com, but Breitbart.com pulled the story from the Washington Post, and here's the title: according to the Washington Post, private gun. I can't even say it. It's so stupid. It makes me angry. Deep breath. According to the Washington Post,
Wappo.
private gun ownership makes police less safe. Yes, you heard it right. On December 22nd, the Washington Post claimed private gun ownership makes police less safe. With this assertion, the WAPO, and this is the Breitbart story, WAPO joined other reactionaries like the National Association for Liberal Colored People and Every Town for Gun Safety / Bloomberg Wants You to Be Disarmed, who publicized the heinous attack on two police officers in New York for their gun control purposes. So essentially this, WAPO says this. It says, guns, listen to this, folks. This is a direct quote from the Washington Post story. Guns change the equation in so many ways. They make it harder for police to retreat, and more likely that a standoff that might have been resolved peacefully will escalate. They make it harder, they as in guns, make it harder for police to give suspects the benefit of the doubt, and more likely that a suspected criminal may not deserve it. They make it easier for a mentally ill man to forever alter two families' lives in the name of revenge.
Wasn't this didn't that happen because of what the media was doing?
No, it's not the media's responsibility. You mean the media whipping up the low-information voters and the dazzling urbanites into a frenzy, giving them nonstop anti-police, And here's the deal. Remember this, folks. There's so much in this paragraph that is so illustrative of what is wrong with the United States of America.
Since when are police supposed to retreat?
I'm going to get to that. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm going to mute my microphone.
Yeah, calm down. Okay, he's. You think I'm off the chain? He's pacing over there. The stupidity in this story is so bad. Okay, never forget this, folks. Students of the gun out there. This current, you say, a lot of you pro-independence people, pro-liberty people, a lot of you think, well, I don't want thugs to attack police officers. But you might be tempted to believe that what's going on right now, that the attacks on police officers and the demonstrations and the Lives Matter and all that stuff, you might think that what that's going to do, that the end game, when it all boils down and we scrape off the slag from the top, that's a little bit of smelting lingity there for you, that what we'll have is less government and more independence. No, that's not what their aim is. The aim of these protest groups, what you'll notice is they're not saying we want more liberty, we want more freedom, we want more independence. No. They're saying that they want the local police to leave them alone. And if the local police, sheriff's department, police department, what have you, county constable, if they don't leave them alone, they want Big Brother to force the local police. They never once these protesters claim that big government is not the answer, that the state is not the answer. No. When you're a whiny, mealy-mouthed protester and you want someone to change their ways, or you want to force someone to change their ways, how do you do it? Well, in this case, you get the Big Brother, the Department of Justice, which is just a joke. You get the federal government to step in and oversee. The aim in all of this nonsense is to get local police agencies, state, county, so forth, to get their authority nullified or lessened and to allow the federal government to step in and oversee. You understand that? Are you getting that now? Okay. Now let's go back to this Washington Post story and this one paragraph and how in one single paragraph the Washington Post proves that they are Pravda of 2014. And if you don't know what Pravda is, you need to research it and get up to speed. All right, I don't have time to explain it to you. Sentence number 1. Guns change the equation in so many ways. Yes, I will agree upon that. Guns change the equation. Guns change the equation from a 19-year-old or two 19-year-old puke-faced scumbag multi-felon thugs breaking into a little old lady's house and beating her to death, raping her and robbing her. Because now the 74-year-old grandmother has a gun. So yeah, it changes the equation. Whereas once people had to succumb to animals, now they can defend themselves. Okay.
What's the quote? It's God made man and Samuel Colt made them equal.
Sam Colt made him equal. Yeah, that's right. The great equalizer. They, as in guns, make it harder for police to retreat and more likely that a standoff that might have been resolved peacefully will escalate. Notice in this one sentence, there is absolutely no burden of responsibility placed upon the human being that is involved in the criminal activity.
Real quick, my grammar Nazi's coming out. More likely that a standoff that might have that's not correct.
Well, I don't know. This is a direct quote from the Washington Post. They don't have time for grammar. They've got propaganda
you know
to
what?
put out.
It's this. The English is the language. Learn, especially if you're a reporter, learn to speak it.
Well, if you talk to them, you're a plebe, you're a peasant, you're
I wish
a
I
cretin,
could talk face to face with one of them.
and you should just be quiet and do what your slave masters tell you. So when did we get the? They make it harder for the police to retreat. So that's what's supposed to happen right now in America. Is when law enforcement encounter an aggressive criminal, they're supposed to retreat. What?
What is the? I thought. Okay,
right,
so real quick before we go on, one more. I'm gonna a challenge for reporters. Come to the Student of the Gun.
Professional journalists?
Yeah, come to the House of Pain. Come to Student of the Gun University, and I'm one-on-one, no guns, nothing, and we're gonna find out what it's like for an innocent bystander to be attacked by a criminal. I'll play the criminal, you play the innocent bystander, unarmed. Both of us will be unarmed.
You're going to do some aggressor training?
Yeah.
Some role-playing there?
And if you can defeat me, then I will do something. I don't know what I'll do.
You make him a sandwich?
No. Shannon will do that.
No, you don't understand. The people giving this advice, it's like the never throw the first punch and fire only if fired upon. People who give that advice never, ever, ever consider that they'll be in a position to take that advice. They don't ever think that they'll be the one who has to accept the first punch. They don't ever believe that they'll be the one who is shot at first, and has to. I never have understood that, but let's get back to the story. They make it harder for police to give suspects the benefit of the doubt, and more likely that a suspected criminal may not deserve it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't understand what the last part of that sentence means, Jared. Can you help me out on that? It says, and more likely that a suspected criminal may not deserve it. May not deserve what? To be shot, to be arrested, to be harassed by police officers?
I don't know. They make it harder for police to give
do you know what
suspects-
else?
Guns make it harder for police to give suspects the benefit of the doubt. And more likely that a suspected criminal may not deserve it. May not deserve what? A gun? Because
I don't know. Did you notice you went to public school, but you still know how to speak English and write English? When the overuse of pronouns,
Yeah.
where in a properly
They,
structured
it.
English sentence, the subject should be defined at least once. You don't use two pronouns in the same sentence. He got up and walked across the room, and he had a sandwich. Who had a sandwich? He did. Okay, who's he? I don't know. The man. Maybe the man. And, folks, I don't even know what to say. It says, they make it easier for a mentally ill man to forever. All right, stop, you puke face scumbag sons of dogs. How's that?
There you go. Thank you. No beeping has to.
Okay, so we're going to get off that story. So according to Washington Post, if we didn't have guns, things would be better for the criminal. Basically, that's what I'm getting for this is criminals' lives would be much better if there weren't guns available. Except that criminals will always find guns and they will always find weapons. Let me see. And we've got a story here from abcnews.go.com.wix. And it says, fifth person dies in Israeli synagogue attack. And this was from November 18th, 2014. You say, well, why are you referencing it? Do you guys remember? 2 knife-wielding Palestinian men earlier today. An Israeli police officer has died from his wounds from an attack at a Jerusalem synagogue by 2 knife-wielding Palestinian men earlier today, bringing the death toll of the assault to 5.
Well, if they would have retreated faster.
So the 2 Palestinian men armed with knives, axes, and a pistol. Okay, so there was a gun involved, but the majority of the killing apparently was done with knives and axes. But I thought that if we restricted gun ownership, that bad people wouldn't have guns and criminals would get the benefit of the doubt. Didn't we just have a spate of attacks in the United States of America where the bad people didn't use guns, that they used? What did they use in outside of Ferguson there to kill that the guy from Bosnia? Hammers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, light bulb. Yeah.
I was like trying to figure out which incident you're talking about.
Yeah, which Ferguson incident? There's been so many. Hammers, okay? They beat a guy to death with hammers in Ferguson.
Hammer control. Death has no glamour. Ban the hammer.
That's right. And that isn't the first hammer attack in Ferguson. That's actually, I'm sure there's many more that we haven't even heard about. Now, what about the story from the Communist News Network dated 10/24? NYPD hatchet attack and act of terror. I cannot believe they didn't scrub the word terror from that. But yeah, we had a believer in the religion of peace, a goat sodomizer, took a hatchet and attacked 2 police officers on the street. But maybe, Jared, according to the Washington Post, because he didn't have a gun, they should have been able to give him the benefit of the doubt. And because he didn't have a gun, the officers involved should have been able to retreat. Right? I mean, according to the Washington Post, this guy didn't have a gun.
I have a
so
question.
why didn't the officers retreat instead of increasing a standoff where he gets what he doesn't deserve?
This kind of it goes off on a little bit of a tangent, but this dude with a hatchet assaulted a group of New York police officers.
Yep.
How in the ever-living crap did this guy even get close enough to the group of police officers to assault them with a hatchet?
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
He's on the street in New York. You can walk through crowds and reach out with your hands and touch police officers that are also in the crowd.
Right, but yeah, I've been to New York and I saw that. But okay, you and I in public,
Uh-huh.
I would not let anybody get that close to you. I would have your back. You would have my back.
No. You're not thinking like New Yorkers. You're not thinking like New York people. They allow people into their personal space. They can't not allow people into their personal space. They're packed up on top of each other like rats.
Real quick.
It's part of daily life to have people brush into you all day long.
Yeah, but you still don't pay attention to your surroundings. Like this dude.
I'm not going to fault the cops, Jared.
I'm not either. But I don't know. I don't understand. I do fault them to an extent because I just don't see how you could let that happen.
No, I can see. I think you're coming at this from a passionate. People with guns should be able to protect. And you say, well, if they have guns on them.
Well, it's not just
how do you stop people? How do you stop people in crowds from like punching you in the face and taking your gun and stuff like that? But
anyway, before we go on, Tyler went up to New York to visit Lad.
Oh, that's
for
too bad.
Christmas, yeah, and they were in a store. I don't remember what store it was, but Tyler told somebody thank you, and the person that he told thank you in New York was like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, really? That's
what he said. He said thank you, and the guy's reaction was, "Where are you from?"
Yeah, like a snotty, "Where are you from?" Apparently, people in New York don't say thank you.
America.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Fornicate New York.
Yeah.
Can I say fornicate New York? If you speak the King's English, you can say all kinds of things. Like I could say that I wish that you would consume excrement and expire, and I can say that on the public radio.
Venture forth and
venture forth and fornicate with thyself, and I can say that on public radio and you get it. If you speak the King's English, then you understand. So. Wow.
Let me look at the show notes real quick. But go on with what you're going to say about the story.
Well, okay, what we've got here is we have the Washington Post, who is advocating for more, basically, restrictions on peasants owning guns because peasants owning guns make police less safe, according to the Washington Post. But let's be honest here, folks. Does the Washington Post really give a whit about police officers, about local police officers, your local sheriff's deputy? Do you think the Washington Post really gives a one fat rat's rear end about the lives of your local sheriff's deputy or local police department, police officers? I really don't believe that for 1 second. I think that the Washington Post is populated by a bunch of elitists that feel that the peasants out there have no business owning arms and that only the state should be in possession of arms. Because that's how you have liberty and freedom, is you make sure that you make sure that the peasants are disarmed and that only the state can control the swords and bows and lances and guns. So all right, Jared, go ahead and ask me a question.
All right, I'm going to ask you this question because I've been asked it a couple times, and I didn't really have a solid one-step answer, and there might not be one. I think it has a lot of moving parts. But I was asked if I was put in a position of power, if I was put in where I could change things, what would I do to, all these people want gun control, supposedly to save the lives of the children and save the lives of the police and blah, blah, blah.
Save everyone's life but your grandmother.
Yeah. And what would you do to fix the societal problem of violence that we have right now?
Eliminate welfare. Eliminate the entitlement society. Eliminate it.
Is there anything else that, you as a person, maybe, say you're not in power.
Okay.
If you were in a position of power, you would eliminate the welfare.
I would 100% eliminate the entitlement society.
Kind of elaborate on that and tell them why.
All right, it's supposed to be a safety net, not a hammock.
You know that we have reporters listening. They're going to pull that audio by itself.
Whatever. Here's a helpful hint for you out there in the listening audience.
Student of the Gun hates poor people. They want to get rid of the welfare system.
I wish that they would do that.
Yeah.
We could not be that lucky. Oh, no, folks. People say, well, aren't you afraid that you'll get caught saying something you shouldn't say? there is nothing that I should not say. There are certain things that I choose not to say, but there's nothing that I shouldn't say. But, you want to know why we are where we are as a nation? There's many reasons. Number one, we've allowed our own compassion to be used against us. Nobody wants to see people starving. No one wants to see children starve. No one wants people to be living in squalor. And so what we've done is we've allowed our compassion to become essentially I'm not going to say a crutch. It's an impediment or it's a handicap. What we've done, because someone comes to you and says, well, don't you think that it would be a good idea if people lost their jobs and it wasn't their fault that they lost their jobs, that we created a program to give them a cushion or a safety net while they're looking for another job so that their children don't starve to death? You say, oh, okay, I'll go with that. Now, we're going to come up with a system called unemployment insurance. And we're going to, if you don't own a small business, if you're just a dude out there working a job, you may not know this, but your employer pays into the unemployment insurance program. That is money that is taken from them. And I'm going to get angry because I'm thinking about this now. But it's money that's taken from them and put into a great big government pot, and then they dole it out as they see fit. And it used to be, let's say, all right, when this idea comes up, you're like, well, all right, unemployment, insurance benefits. So if someone, loses their job and we don't want people starving to death, so we're going to give them 2 months worth of wages. Maybe not the same wage that they were making, but 2 months worth of money so that they can have a cushion while they're looking for another job. And then someone came along and said, 2 months just isn't long enough. There's no way in this economy, people just can't be expected to find a job in 2 months. We need to be more reasonable. We need to make it 4. And then as time went by, there's some politicians thought, I can really buy some serious votes, some serious compassion votes, if we change it from 4 weeks or 4 months to 8. And then they start calculating it in weeks. And they start passing bills. They're like, well, let's do 60 weeks. Right now it's 99 weeks. 99 weeks.
You know how many weeks there are in a year? 52.
Yeah, and if you went to public school, you probably don't know that, but 52 weeks in a year. So almost 2 years, just shy. I mean, why are we messing around with the number 99? Why don't they just make it 104? Why don't they just make it forever? So what they do, and let's face facts, folks, there are people out there that need external motivation, that aren't self-motivated. And if you tell someone, don't sweat it, don't worry about it, we got your back, we understand it's hard out there, we've turned our nation, we have, folks, as a police officer, I encountered family units that were on 3rd and even 4th generation welfare recipients. What's that supposed to mean, Mr.? Yeah, like I was a billionaire when I was 22 years old. No, we scraped by. I remember those times when if the bank account got below $100, you're panicking. If your checking account, when you're getting below $100 and you're like, do we fill up the tank of gas or do we just put $10 in because we don't get paid for another 2 days? But I encountered families as a police officer that were on, it wasn't just the dad and mom and dad had been on welfare. It was the grandparents were on. They'd been on, the kids had never had an adult role model. You had 8, 9, 10-year-old kids that never in their life saw an adult role model going to work. When you have kids who've seen not only their parents but their grandparents have never actually worked, What kind of a society do you create? Well, what's your point, Paul? You're not talking about guns. Yeah, it all works together. It all works together. Don't tell me that the current entitlement society, that the current welfare society is not breeding a nation of people that are selfish, that have no personal motivation, that believe whatever their wants and desires are at that moment in time, that it is someone else's responsibility to fill those wants and desires. And if they don't, then it's their right to just go out and take it, to steal it, to hit you over the head with a hammer and take what they want from you. So we've bred thousands upon thousands upon thousands of quite literally monsters in the United States of America. Monsters that have no remorse, monsters that would kill you to take whatever happens to be in your pockets. This isn't me fear-mongering, it's a fact. I could come to Student of the Gun Radio and I could do an entire hour of story after story after story of merciless vermin who have preyed upon the innocent. And how do we stop that? Well, the easy way is for you and your family members to be armed all the time, never not armed. Well, you don't understand, Paul, it's not easy. Shut up. Who told you life was going to be easy? Who told you that in order to be a responsible armed citizen, that it was going to be easy? You want easy? Get on the government dole, sit on the couch, and watch Oprah all day long. That's easy. You want to be a responsible citizen? Sometimes it's tough.
I'm going to end that. I looked over to my right, and I saw a quote that you wrote down on this little notepad right here, this little sticky note. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you guys that are listening, I want to ask you if welfare, a life of welfare allows you to do this. And the quote is, to live a life of purpose, to die a meaningful death. And now, moving on, let's face it, most of our listeners are not in a position of power. They're not an elected official.
Why not?
They should be in a position of power because
you are in a position of power. You're the citizen.
You are
You're
the
supposed
power.
to be the boss.
But they're not an elected official. So what can they do? What can Jimmy do that's listening to my voice right now? What can he do?
He can tune into part 2 of Student of the Gun Radio this week because we're already at 43 minutes.
Okay.
Did you look at the clock?
No.
Look at the clock. If I start getting in details, we're going to go too long.
Okay. Are we going to have time to talk about that in the second part?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
Okay.
We're Americans.
All right. Well, let's do that.
With
Let's give them some
microphones.
advice.
Because I have a microphone, and you will listen to every darn word I have to say. How's that? How family friendly was that? All right, folks. Thank you for joining us. Boycott the Washington Post. If they still printed up paper, I don't think do they still actually do like Dead Tree newspapers.
Probably not.
Probably not. If they did, I might put them in my bird cage. But make sure that you're listening. Folks, if you have not signed up for the free newsletter, if you didn't go to studentofthegun.com yet, you need to do that because there's so much good stuff coming up for 2015, and that's the way we reach you each and every day. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and download the mobile app. It costs you nothing thanks to our friends at Century Arms. So whether you have an iPhone or an Android phone, the show's about to end. And if you don't have the app, do it, right?
Student of the Gun mobile app on your iTunes App Store and Google Play.
Exactly right. Don't forget, folks, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.